Punch podcast today. We are touching down into Vegas. We are going straight into Tim Tszyu territory. It's always great to get his time too, especially in a busy fight week. The head honch of Tim Tszyu too. I am talking about the one and only Glen Jennings. Welcome from Las Vegas.
G'day, Jaden. Always good to catch up, mate. How's things with you?
Lovely. You're not ducking into Swarovski behind you to get a couple of diamonds or silver from what I can
mate.
see.
I've got my trusty Starbucks coffee in hand, so I'm good to go.
That's the only proof you're in America, not in like a mall somewhere in Newcastle. You're not at Greta or something like that, are you?
Very, very true, mate. Very true.
Well, mate, you've got some big days ahead of you. Let's talk about those. We're obviously going to chat today about Fundora. We'll touch on Nikita, but let's open with the breaking news, which is about Liam Wilson. Officially, the WBO have said it is officially an interim world title for the WBO. So that's exciting for Liam.
Super exciting for Liam. We got word yesterday. We just had to wait for WBO to launch it out into the atmosphere this morning. And I rang Liam last night with the news, and he's just prior to the news, he was pumped. But you can imagine how pumped he is now, mate. He's ready to just break free and go and take that belt. I expect this weekend we'll be bringing a lot of gold belts home.
The carry-on's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think there's something a bit bittersweet in that belt in particular? A, having fought for it before, but B, being incredibly ripped off on it. So they say, to go back to the same venue to win the belt that was probably rightfully his.
Yeah, I do, mate. I think Liam wouldn't have had it any other way. He's actually said this a few times in interviews that, granted the circumstances that happened last time and the unfortunate outcome, we all feel a bit pissed off about it. So it's redemption, it's payback, and it's going to be carnage. So those three line up nicely, I reckon.
Absolutely. And your opponent, obviously a notable one as well in Oscar Valdez, and also a tough cookie. So there's no denying that one. What's Liam got to do to get past someone like him?
Valdez is a great fighter, mate. Very credentialed, very tough, and very experienced. We are blessed to have had absolute perfect sparring for the entire 5-week camp with a young fella here in Las Vegas who looks like Oscar Valdez, fights like Oscar Valdez, does everything like Oscar Valdez. So we couldn't have asked for any more. So preparation-wise, I believe Liam's at the best that he's ever been, and I think we've done everything that we could possibly do. So we'll hand it over to the young fella on Friday night in Glendale, and I'm sure this time around, mate, we'll have a much happier outcome at the end.
I love it's been documented too that you will be taking a private jet. Glen Jennings, is this your first private jet experience?
It is, mate. It's not my private jet, I can assure you. It's compliments of no limits. George, Matty and Trent heading across with me and a couple of our Aussie reporters. So absolute must. It's been wonderful, Jaden. I've had all the boys in Vegas up until yesterday. I let the Arizona boys head out, Liam's team, to get acclimatized out there. We got a lot to do with Tim this week. It's a massive week, and I'll be staying in touch with the boys in Arizona via Facebook. I'm also sending Coach Eric, our USA coach, out tomorrow to spend the rest of the week with the Arizona Wilson team, just to make sure that we don't have any of those problems that we've experienced in the past. Eric's a terrific guy who's been around forever, and he's well aware of what happened. And then we'll all fly in Friday afternoon. We'll get there to the arena and enjoy watching Liam Wilson become the next world champ.
Chef Omar going to meal prep him, give him some frozen meals just to get him through to the fight day, or what? Because he seems to be loving the perks of Tim Tszyu, let me tell you.
Well, look, he's got a lot out of the camp preparation, but he also has his own chef, Red Hef, who's one of our Team Wilson guys, and we're actually planning with no limits a battle of the chefs. Tim Tszyu v Tim Wilson, Chef v Omar versus Red. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, well, I'll get me a seat at that table. That looks red hot. All right, let's shift to the big one, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. Before we do, Glenn, it'd only be fair just to get in the zone with
happy days. The USA shirt.
He's on.
Yeah.
We're so excited back home, mate. I can tell you, I'm supposed to be there in Vegas, unfortunately, still in Australia, but very pumped, like I'm sure you are. And how's Tim feeling? Because we're only a couple of days out from here. It's press conferences, weigh-ins, and then business.
Yeah, look, the sparring's all done, mate. It's been an amazing and scary at times and worrying at times and all of that with what we've seen happen in the last 2 weeks. But credit to our team, credit to our promoters, No Limits, and credit to everyone involved that we managed to turn a non-title fight at 154 against Keith Thurman into a unification fight against a 6'6" southpaw Sebastian Fundora, and then of course open the door. Who walks in 2 days later? Terence Crawford. And he decides, I want to be the mandatory, and suddenly we went from an A-grade fight to a triple A fight, and it's literally been talked about now as the most important fight for Tim and Sebastian Fundora, with the winner getting Terence Crawford.
Yeah. Is there any word if Terence Crawford's actually going to be in the building? Do they know?
No, no, mate. It's quite likely. Quite likely that you'll want to come and have a look, but who knows? Doesn't bother us in the slightest, to be honest. If it comes to fruition and we get the chance to take Crawford, I'm very confident that we'll have a game plan for that. Granted, he is pound for pound and he is a superb fighter, but you can't take away from the fact that the pound for pound champion of the world right now is calling our boy out. So that's an amazing feeling for all of us. A great achievement for our entire team and our promoters to have achieved this in such a short time.
It's been interesting watching the rise of Tim from, I guess, from the social media point being every time he takes on someone, for example, the big one was Terrell Cachet, whereas he's not ready for a US, boom. He's not ready for this, boom. He's not ready for this, boom. It's just, I guess he said it too. They keep saying it every fight, but they do, and he keeps delivering. So what more do you want? Like,
yeah, I mean, what are we looking? 25 fights and 25 opponents, and they've all said the same. Yeah. Tim Tszyu, he's not at my level. Well, Tim Tszyu silenced all of them. We intend to continue with that. It's a really interesting narrative over here, Jaden. The Thurman fight got a little bit of criticism when we got here about him being inactive, and a lot of people were saying that, you know, should it happen, should fighters be allowed to come in on such breaks? So there's a little bit of negativity, and so we got down to the business of the launch of Tim into the US market, and then of course, really the day Thurman pulled out and Fundora came in, the whole thing got a boost because suddenly we had an active fighter who's a very awkward fighter, and the Americans sort of sat up and paid attention and said, "Who's this Australian kid that's taken this risk at this elite level on a 10-day notice?" None of our fighters would do that. It's like. And it fed the narrative that we've been talking about Tim for a long time, which is who he is. He wasn't coming home. He's going to fight somebody. And if Fundora had said no, Matt and I would have been the next 24 hours working on getting him somebody. And that's the beauty of Tim Tszyu. He's a fighter first, and all he wants to do is fight.
One of the news outlets here in Australia now, I know as someone who reps Tim Tszyu harder than anyone, probably even Tim himself, you're not going to reveal his finances, but there is that word on the street that if he should beat Fundora, which we expect him to do, that he will get the highest pay packet in Australian sports history when he faces Terence Crawford. Now, not going to ask you for the dollar, but what I will say is the number one currently is Cam Smith at 6.5 million for the Masters. Does he beat Cam Smith?
Oh, absolutely. Wipes that off the floor.
Wow. There we go.
Look, there's no way you can hide from that. Tszyu Crawford would be considered up there in the mega fight condition, because remember the story. Terence Crawford is his camp has said that they believe Tim Tszyu the best 154 pounder in the world, and Terence Crawford wants to fight the best. Credit to him. When you get two of the best going at it in a division that's stacked with talent, throw in Errol Spence coming up from 147. Throw in Jamel Charlo, even though no one knows where he's in, probably on an island somewhere having a great time. But all of these guys, this is a red-hot division, so it becomes a mega fight. And Terence Crawford's quite vocal over here. It's posted often that he won't really fight for less than 15 million. So, yeah, Tim Tszyu will be well compensated. The number would never be disclosed, but yeah, you can rest assured it'll be an absolute record breaker for the Australian athlete market.
Well, as his manager, when you see Fundora go down, you can just go shopping for some American muscle car with you. Yeah, we all pay. You do love your muscle.
Yeah, we do love our cars. There's no doubt about that. But it's not something that we are even discussing. I don't have these discussions with Tim. He doesn't really read much of the social media.
Yeah.
So I got left with a lot of it this week. But especially in the lead up to the fight, he's just fully focused, and he's not even thinking about Crawford or Spence or even his next fight, mate. Fundora is a very awkward and very difficult challenge, and Tim will rise to it on Saturday night, and we'll have this chat probably Sunday over a coffee as to where we go next. Matt Rose and I already have option A and B lined up. The plans are done. It's just a matter now of seeing where the dominoes fall.
In Australia, speaking of cars, Tim's known for his flashy arrivals. T-Mobile Arena, you got something planned? I'm sure you're not putting him in an Uber.
No, there won't be an Uber, mate. Right now, the boys have got a beautiful Cadillac Escalade, a big black gangster-looking thing. It's lovely. So, yeah, I think that'll do, considering the focus Tim will be in. I don't think Tim's going to really be thinking too much about what he's sitting in to get to T-Mobile.
Well, hey, we did love the Gold Coast entourage that you put through there with the bump and white Mercedes and the 40 lowriders or whatever else. But
yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
That was great. The other rumor is the only one and only Tszyu is going to be in the building. Confirmed?
Not confirmed. It came out yesterday a little bit prematurely. Tszyu is super busy, and the process from Russia to LA will come down to whether or not we can literally squeeze him in to fly in, do the event, and literally fly out. Wow. So fingers crossed. Yep. Excuse me, my finger's in the way of the lens. Someone's trying to ring me again, mate. So I'm just going to get rid of them. There you go. Fingers crossed, Tszyu will be here, and we've got plans if he does. But I think we won't know that until literally he gets on the plane.
Yeah. Well, all the best. It'd be great to see him there. And just finally, it'd be unreal. Just finally, before we do wrap, just a quick update on Nikita. End of April, sorry. We're expected to see him in another fight. Any announcement on that on the horizon?
I think we've just about got it done, mate. But I'd never step on my promoters' toes in relation to announcing their fights and their fighters. So stay tuned on that. You'll hear pretty shortly. He will be fighting 24th of April. He's been in some amazing sparring. He's enjoyed the camp, as did Liam. Had all three boys working together for 5 weeks. It's been wonderful. They've had literally sparred the League of Nations, Uzbeks, Spanish, Mexicans, Frenchmen, Americans, and that experience and that maturity can only make for a better Nikita Tszyu. So yeah, stay tuned, mate, and we'll let you know as soon as we can who he's fighting and where.
I mean, it's hard to say experience for Tszyu's son, but is he getting some experience to see his brother operating at this level? Because that'd be the first time you've seen him like fly properly in Vegas.
Yeah, it was always a great opportunity and plan for me to get Liam in with Tim. I wanted Liam to experience the levels and where Tim operates at and learn from the subtle things that Tim does. And Liam has said to me so many times over the course of the camp that it's just been an absolute eye-opener. And then to bring Nikita in and see a southpaw Tszyu and an orthodox Tszyu, and they train similarly but differently. So Liam's gone away with a bank of experience and maturity that's at the end of the day, that I always use this, and you've probably heard it 100 times. So long as each of the boys come out of this fight a better fighter than the one they go into, we've achieved something, and that certainly will be the case here.
Awesome. Before we let you go, Glen Jennings, just one last one is that before Tim goes out to any of his fights, there's normally a Team Tszyu huddle, and you give him a bit of a pump up. What do you got planned for Sunday, Australian time?
I can't tell you that, mate. That belongs to our team and our team only. And sometimes there's a little creeps out with some microphones in there, but we are very, very tight, and that's the last thing that gets said before he goes in the ring. So I'll keep that as special as it is, if you don't mind. Of
course, yes. But do you look forward to saying that, because that's you sending them out to war, right?
Absolutely. It's the culmination of a whole massive team effort supporting our guy. And make no mistake, we are pieces in a cog, and Tim is the star of the show. And that's the culmination of everything that we can contribute. After that moment, mate, when we walk, Tim's on his own, and there's nothing we can do to help him. So it's very meaningful, and it's very targeted towards that last minute. It's time to go, and now we're handing you over. And Tim is an absolute warrior. He understands that, and he feeds on that, and he goes into the ring, and as you've seen, he comes out, he's still undefeated. So something's working. We're doing something right.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let you get back to it because I know your phone is running hot in Vegas.
It usually does.
And as always, appreciate your time. I mean, you're a very busy man with a very busy team, and Tim's biggest fight of his career yet. We've managed to get 15 minutes out of you. So I really appreciate that.
My pleasure, mate. And to all our Aussie fans, we can't thank you guys enough for the unbelievable support across the social media. We can't answer everything. We can't take the calls on everything, but we do get it. We're getting messages, and it's been amazing. And let me tell you, Tim Tszyu in America, those that said that he's not known, go read the book. You're reading the wrong book, mate. Tim Tszyu's on every damn podcast, on every damn TV. Anything to do with boxing, Tim Tszyu's name is in their mouth. So it's on, brother. And in a few days, we'll be loading onto a plane with so much carry-on, they're probably going to charge us extra.
Well, all the best in Tszyu SA.
Tszyu SA, let's go. Let's go. Thanks, mate. Great talking to you.
Bye,
mate.